You're fine. I was hoping it would click on like it normally does, but it hasn't clicked on yet.
So you need me to say all that again?
I think so, unfortunately, but we are recording now.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. So it's now 8:33, and the same thing is true that this is the mayor manager meeting of June 15th. And in this call are Linda Olson, Tamara Niles, Jade Truscott-Reed, Othaniel Sierra, Shawn Lewis, and Stephanie Carlisle.
All right, thanks, Mayor. What were you saying about the mayor manager meeting for next week?
Yeah, we probably don't need one because the following week is the Citizen of the Year Award, and we don't have to plan that day out. But and I'm gone on the 22nd, but I don't mind if you all want to meet on the 22nd and plan for the July 6th meeting. That's not a problem if you want to do that.
But no, we can take it off and plan that with you.
If you want to do it on the 29th, that's fine. And then okay. We were just chatting. I'm just in the 28th. In the very early morning, the 8 a.m., there's been a request for a meeting with the apartment. What's it called?
Right.
Yeah.
Apartment Association.
Hire council and both the city attorney and city manager. So it seems like if that's what we're, this didn't even come up on council. It just came through another council member asking for it. Just as a weird thing to have all of us invited. So we need to post this, right? If we're gonna, I would like to go to it. I'm glad to meet these folks because they're new.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if somebody can clarify that next week at the meeting on the 21st, Othaniel, maybe under Mayor's Choice or something of what that meeting is, because I'm not exactly sure what the meeting is for, right, other than meet and greet. And I don't want people to feel like they have to go to it if they, we've got other things going on, especially in July. We have some morning meetings with Tri-Cities and also with the with the Renew.
South Platte Renew?
Platte Renew.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll make sure people know that's certainly optional.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We'll
Do you
start
plan
with.
to attend, Mayor?
Pardon?
Would you plan to attend that?
You have it down for the 28th. I can't believe I'm flying in that night from vacation, but I should be back in time. I do want to meet these folks.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that it just came through, so I just was curious if anyone's interested. So
I would imagine I think it was Steve Ward who set it up, right? So probably the two of us at least are going. So if there's a third, we need to post.
We'll post it regardless.
Okay.
Well, and to clarify, the Apartment Association reached out to our office and we said, well, you're going to need to reach out to council directly. So we just forwarded the email to council and Steve asked that they do provide a doodle poll to pick a good date. So I expect Linda and Steve for sure, and I'm not sure who else. All right. Should we start with the 21st?
Yep.
All right, we've got EDDA update. That's a 45-minute presentation. It is 4 different sections. They are pretty weighty with 30 minutes discussion planned for. 2022 budget workshop, and that's the part 2, which is another hour and a half. So 2 really big, study session items. And then the next is the ARPA certification filing. So for us to even just get our foot in the door to access the ARPA funds, we need to certify that things like our population, all the things that go into the formula for ARPA funding, which is similar to CDBG formula. So, and then next is a resolution appointing hearing officers for 2021. SCADA virtualization at Allen Water Treatment Plant, resolution for the WIFIA loan that we discussed last night, award of contractors to Summers Construction for South Tacoma Street drainage improvements, number 1, phase 1, filter interface panel project. And Jade, I'm waiting for you to scroll. There we go. And then city ditch crossing license agreement with Excel. Approve an ordinance to grant an electric transmission line easement at Bellevue Park. Intergovernmental approve agreement with Tri-Cities for the Homelessness Plan of Action. MOU between us and the State Patrol for license plate recognition and meeting with department, well, I think we've already done that one now. Oh, you added that so that Othaniel
Yes.
could clarify.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, so that it'll go on there as like a little topic to just as a reminder for Nathaniel to ask that during March choice.
Sounds good. Any questions on those? All right, let's see. So we've got times assigned to all of the study session. Yeah.
Did we decide, so I realized I forgot to transfer over the consent markings, but the only one that I had as a question from previous is the WIFIA loan. Would you like that to be on consent or no?
I say yes on the WIPIA, but I'm not sure on the ARPA. Oh, wait. So
Sorry, I
we
was
have the ARPA
muted.
ahead. Still a question mark on that one.
So what do you think, Nathaniel?
So I'm wondering whether or not the ARPA needs to be on consent. And the reason why I say that is that I know that Member Anderson brought up that question maybe a month or two ago about using some funds towards stormwater. And that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up, because I can't recall what the answer was to that.
Well, I would recommend against ARPA being on consent, but there are no decisions to make on spending the 8.7 at this point. It's just, this is a formality that the federal government requires for us to just get in line for the money.
Okay.
And I think if you make that really clear in the memo, there won't be a lot of discussion. It won't take a lot of time, but I think you're right. Having it up front with so citizens see where the money's coming would be good.
Yes.
The other one, do you feel like that one needs to be also on regular, Nathaniel?
Are we talking about the WIFIA or which
Yeah.
one are we talking about now? The
Yeah.
WIFIA, I think, I'm thinking back to the conversation we had last night, and I think all answers or all questions were answered. So
Yeah,
I would be okay with putting it on consent.
I would too. It was well explained.
Great.
That leaves the that leaves the one other additional item of the award of contract for phase 1.
Anything with wastewater, I think it's going to get pulled. So I would know.
Anything on those projects, the S3, I just think regular is best for that.
Okay. And then I did have one other item that came up. We tentatively we're going to put as a discussion point for returning to in-person meetings for board and commission members. Do you want this discussion to happen on this evening, or do you want this to happen another time?
It's up to you, Nathaniel.
Well, I was just wondering, do we have to have a discussion on it? I'm thinking that, I don't know. It's just like, I'm not even sure if we really have to have a conversation on it. What do you think, Mayor? Do you think we have to have a discussion?
I think the question is, can they do hybrid? I think that's the question. We have some people who still may be in places where they cannot do in person. So are we going to allow for hybrid? I think in the past we have allowed, I've been on the water and sewer board on and off for a long time, and we've always allowed people to call in and vote while they're calling in. So I just think some people don't know that, and maybe we just need to clarify it. I mean, that's what I think, right? If a commission doesn't want to come back and meet face to face, do we care? That's the question. Are we going to demand that they come back face to face?
Well, I'm looking at the schedule. It's like, I guess we do have to have the conversation. I'm just wondering whether or not that's the right night to do it. Let's leave it on there, if you don't mind, Jade.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's going to be 2 council members out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Both Cheryl and her. Yeah.
Maybe we leave it out.
I think too, with hybrid, we'll have to clarify what that would look like for boards and commissions, because it certainly wouldn't be the high tech that we have for council meetings. Yeah.
No.
So as long as everyone's really clear on that.
I think it's more, can they continue to do, I mean, someone calling in on Zoom is not a big deal either. If I were leading a meeting, that's just so simple. But someone has to have a computer with the Zoom on. But if you want to leave it on there, that's fine. I can see why you wouldn't want it on there and wait until the next week, the 6th. Or
Yeah, I'm happy to move it to the 6th if that's what
Yeah,
is
let's
your
do that.
preference.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's-
But in the meantime, as any commission wants to go back, they can meet face to face, right? It's not a problem.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And Stephanie, if y'all can pass that on to the boards and commit or the staff liaisons, that'd be great.
Okay.
I think the sticky part then is, and they think, okay, well, but I don't want to come back. So can you accommodate me? And we at least have the phone. What do you call those, bat phones? I call them bat phones.
Yes, that's right.
I have no
Right.
idea what you're talking about, bat.
Big round black things that sit on the table in the middle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Done it before. I don't know why my institution calls them bat phones.
They're very space agey. All right, well, we'll move on. Of course, we've got the Citizen of the Year recognition on June 28th. And I think all the details are taken care of on that. And July 6th, we have the Alliance for Commerce in Inglewood discussion. And these are all study sessions, US 85 PEL study, the Oxford Pedestrian Bridge, sidewalk gap prioritization, monthly financial report, B City USA. I would actually suggest that we don't need a study session, that this could go straight onto the, what do you all think of that, Linda and Othano, since we've already talked about it?
It's a proclamation, right?
Well, it's actually a resolution.
A resolution, that's right. Resolution on it. Oh,
Oh, it looks like it's on both. Yeah, I
It's
don't,
for resolution on the 19th. So they had the study session scheduled first, but
yeah, I mean, we had a unanimous vote on the pollinator proclamation, and then we briefed council on the Bee City, and everybody seemed quite supportive. But anyway,
well, you want an answer to that? I don't even
yes.
remember us. I am absolutely fine with it going on resolution without a study session, but I don't remember everybody saying, yes, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Silence, in my view, is consent, but it isn't always.
Right. Okay, well, we'll keep it on for the
So I don't know,
study
Daniel,
session.
what do you remember? I never think anything's a done deal anymore, so.
I don't remember this one being as big of an issue as the original proclamation. So.
Well, the case hasn't weighed in on it, right? They want a Bee City.
Well, they thought the proclamation we did was too weak to make us a Bee City, but Bee
Right.
City USA said, no, actually, this is quite good.
Yeah. Let's just keep going. Let's go ahead with it. Let's just do it on resolution. There's just no need to have a study session on it. We can have our conversation about it that night.
And then do you want to assign some times on this, this meeting? I think we're short, let's see. If I said June, I meant July 6th. So discussion time on the ACE conversation, we're thinking about 10 minutes for an overview.
15.
White discussion. Would you say any 15?
I said 15. What do you think? You think it's gonna be longer?
I think some people aren't going to like it, but
All
maybe.
right.
I don't know.
And then the
I could see it
PE.
going longer, so
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I see it can go longer, but the 15-minute, the 8th one.
I could just do round robin. What do you think? All right, let's leave it at 15. Try and get it done 15. We got a lot on that night. Don't we? Yeah, before.
All right, and then the PEL, this is going to be mostly, there's not a lot to discuss on this other than maybe answer
It's just an
questions.
update. It's just an update.
Right.
I think 10 minutes question answer, if any.
Yeah. And then Oxford Ped Bridge, this is an update on the design.
Again, 10 minutes. What do you think? I mean, we don't really want to. Do you think there's anything controversial with it?
I don't.
Ten minutes. It might not even take that long.
All right, and then sidewalk gap prioritization. This one might have a little more discussion. I can't remember if this is asking council for some feedback. I think it's letting council know and the public know how we're going about this work, but council may have ideas on how that prioritization should work.
Sorry, I lost track of what we're doing.
Sidewalk gap prioritization discussion time.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
The presentation will be 10 minutes.
No, it wasn't your fault. I actually got lost in my other one of the same thing you have up here. Yeah, 10 minutes. You think it's going to be a little bit more?
You know, we can check with Maria on that, but that seems like it would be fine.
Okay.
And then Jade, we're pulling this one off.
The B City
Yes, and just let the department know we're going straight to resolution.
will do. Are you comfortable with moving the resolution up if they're able to accommodate that? They had initially planned bringing the resolution for this night, but then decided they needed to do a study session, so they pushed it out.
Oh, well, talk to me about why the department thought they needed a study session. I didn't realize
They-
this was.
Yeah, no, they didn't really give me a whole bunch. They didn't really give me a whole bunch of reasoning why. They just said that they wanted to go ahead and bring it forward as a study session, then do the resolution. So I can reach out to them and see if there's a specific reason why they wanted to put it on study session first.
Well, I can do that too. Why don't you just push undo and keep it on there, and then I'll get some clarification. But if they're okay with going straight to resolution, we'll take that off, Mayor.
That sounds fine. Shawn, if they think that it's better to do a study session, we can do a 5-minute
For sure.
presentation, 5-10-minute question answer.
Okay.
I don't want it to be a big deal. And I think our biggest problem with the last one had more to do with some of the concerns from Case, and it went back and forth.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that, oh, except for, oh no, that's a motion. Jade, can you click out of, thank you. So Jade, I think, why don't you just go ahead and stick 5 minutes on there, I think the mayor said. And that takes us down to regular motion. So we'll move on down to, oh, except for we haven't gone over these, have we? Okay. So we have the DDA budget, and council does need to approve that per state law. Contract with selected consultant for UDC rewrite. We did have the selection committee that worked on that, and they've got a recommendation ready to bring council. An IGA between the city and the DDA for really just outlining who's on first. What does the DDA do? What does the city do? And then the ballot language. This is the kind of a repeat from last year's discussion about do we want to put on the ballot the ability for the DDA to, or the city to issue debt financing through TIF, using TIF revenue. And then the IGA with the Arapahoe County for coordinated election services. And then the discussion of return to in-person board and commission meetings. Any questions on those?
No, I think that the DDA budget authority budget thing is not a consent item. Do you think?
Asking
It's the
Othaniel?
first time. Yeah, it's the first time we're doing this budget, right?
Correct.
So I would say no.
It's the first time. I don't expect many questions on it though.
Yeah, but we should on regular, right? And the UDC rewrite, I can't see us leaving that in consent either. Then I can see down below, I agree with the IGA with Arapahoe County for election services as a yes. Am I wrong on these, Nathaniel? Do you think I'm being overly conservative?
No, you're right, but I'm thinking after this Monday's study session, that potentially that budget may become a yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, we can reevaluate
Mm-hmm.
on the 29th. 29th.
Well,
No.
what about the IGA? Well, yeah, I guess we'll talk about it on whatever day it is, the Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, Arapahoe County has always done our election services. You can't put that
Oh,
on.
yeah, but I'm also thinking that IGA between the city and EDDA is going to be
Yeah.
a yes.
You think that one could be on consent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So go ahead and update that to yes, the IGA.
Yeah.
Okay. And then apologies for just having discussion in this box. Am I okay to put this under mayor's choice?
Yep.
Yeah. But move it to the 21st. I'm teasing.
All right, we'll move on to the July 12th meeting then.
Yay! I can't wait for this meeting.
Yes, we've got the homelessness plan of action presentation, ARPA reimbursement. And so this is where we will talk to council about the buckets that the federal government allows, the flexible money that is going to be pretty much unrestricted, that's related to revenue reimbursement and that sort of thing. And then we have the dumping victim compensation. Yeah, I think maybe Jade will change that, and I'm sorry if I entered that in.
Well, I
but,
haven't received a agenda
well,
sheet
thank
for
you for
these.
taking a
Yeah.
stab at that. It was
So-
good wording, but I think it would be just a broader illegal dumping discussion. I would prefer that. And then, well, actually, those are the only 3 items we have
So far.
right now.
Shawn, I will be meeting with the city prosecutor this week, and one of the items we're discussing is some sort of uncompensated victim fund through municipal court that could apply in that circumstance. But we're just in the exploratory phases of that. So I don't know if it's something we'll want to discuss publicly by July 12th, but it's something we're exploring.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great. Even if we had, what we've seen in other, or what we see in other cities, that would be helpful. So.
Yeah, I think there was some past victim assistance fund for this kind of thing. And I think then the city took on, I don't know what the history totally has been, but that was maybe back in the 80s. So that's a long time ago. Feeling old. So I don't know what's transpired, how we got to where we are. But this has not been an uncommon conversation we've had on different councils throughout the last 12 years either, how to handle this.
I had set up one previously through a diversion fund. We added on an extra small amount to diversions and then funneled that into a victim compensation fund. But it became difficult to manage and oversee, and we didn't have the staffing for it. So we stopped doing it.
Yeah. Well, there's another pro for trash hauling is allowing for some kind of better pickup. But anyway, all right. Thanks for looking into it.
Yeah, so we do have 4 departments working on that between police, public works, attorney's office, and our office. So hopefully we can come up with some good suggestions.
It is incredibly difficult for citizens to have stuff dumped and then figure it out. And it's not just that, though. There are other things too. So is it just dumping? Is it other vandalism? Is it spray painting someone's fence? All of those things. Where do we develop this? I don't know.
Right.
It'd be nice to see
And I
some
think Sorry, Mayor.
It's okay.
I think if we're going to do something through municipal court, I think we wouldn't want to be too limiting in which victims are entitled to compensation. It would probably be more expansive.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
Yes. All right, well, we'll wrap up here with the 19th of July. We have a public hearing on the zone change. And then we have a public hearing on, I'm not actually sure, I guess it's an amendment to the zone map. Jade, if you can have them add some detail on that. And then the public hearing on the rezoning of city center from PUD to MUB1 and the Tri-Cities homelessness plan of action. This is to approve the plan. Then we have the 2021, 2022, I think it is. Oh, no, the second 2021 slurry seal project to approve that for 300,000. Modifying the bylaws to change Keep Inglewood Beautiful Commission, Keep Inglewood Beautiful Commission to Sustainability Commission. I hadn't heard or seen this.
This was just entered last night from Tim.
Well, he met with the commission, so maybe they voted to recommend that. If so, but that'll be up to council whether to change the name. And then
those roles, right? This is about keeping some of what Keep Inglewood Beautiful does, but also adding sustainability to it. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Yep.
And then the IGA between Denver and Inglewood for the Zuni street pavement maintenance. That's in conjunction with the new bike lanes. Approval of modifications to the strategic plan. That's just the quarterly update that we do to the strategic plan, plus the giving you the dashboards of where we're at with everything. Also an agreement with the DDA based on the money that you gave them in the supplemental. This is a loan agreement for how they will repay that loan of, I believe, 150,000. And then if we don't do B City USA previously, it'll be on this agenda, that resolution. A framework with LNR for the city center property, and an amendment to the IGA between Mile High and the city for Little Dry Creek channel and open space improvements. Unfortunately, this agreement holding us up a little bit on the work in Little Dry Creek Plaza with that park, if you will, renovation. We do need to get everything squared away with Mile High because they're funding a big chunk of this. So,
okay. Shawn, I know you need to leave at 9. We're at 9. Do you want?
We can finish the agenda. Okay. I'm all right. I already told the other party that I would be a little late.
Okay.
And then July 26th, we have the financial report, pavement rating analysis outcomes, and that's the machine that went over every street in the city and did a survey of it. And then any questions on any of those?
Nope.
So the council request that I had from Olson, how many 1-inch service lines versus 3/4 inch?
Actually, where are they? If we can find out if they're like they're neighborhood centric or what?
Okay.
Are they random or are they? I would imagine they're sort of by neighborhood.
Okay. And then Sierra, what was are we going to, I couldn't tell if it was okay to do, what's the city's source for settlement agreement funding source or, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we want to have that one, Tamara?
I thought we withdrew it, but.
Well, I did take off the dollar amount question, but
I think it's when we go through the budget that you just explain that to us about how do we use risk and how do we use other things.
Okay.
And you can discuss it on the one-on-one.
Okay, great.
Specific numbers.
Okay. All right. I think that's all I've got. I did have a correction to one of the previous council requests from Steve Ward. He didn't necessarily want the number of dangerous dog calls. He wanted locations. So we are going to revise that one and put it back out.
Well, there were 68, weren't there?
Yes, I think that's right.
So he wants to know where those are.
Uh-huh.
I also was wondering if we could have a follow-up on, this would be regarding the budget on parking violation trends over the last 4 or 5 years. I think if we're going to add a staff person there, I'd like to see some data for in the next budget go around when we come back to that. So that's not immediate, but when I would like to see what have changes, because I have actually talked to a lot of people over by Swedish and Craig who've told me that since they built those 2 different garages that things have really changed. So I know that we have people who still have problems for sure, and they're real. They're not made up. I'm just curious about the trends. That would
Yeah, we
help.
can definitely do that. That's a good question. And I think that that's all I had from the council meeting.
I didn't see a placeholder for the legislation required regarding our state of emergency.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So let's find a
And
spot.
that's an issue that we had just left with the interim city attorney's office, but I'm going to research that pretty thoroughly to make sure we don't have any unintended consequences. Of course, we discussed it last night, but just out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to spend some time on that to make sure if there's anything else the council needs to know before refilling our state of emergency, that the council has that information.
Right. And so the timing of that needs to be with those other 3 items with the outside fire pits and all those too, right? So the timing needs to be. And you know, in reflecting last night a bit, as I thought the question was, what are, you know, if there been any indication that you wouldn't get funding from other cities who've rescinded? Well, we haven't had any other cities rescind. We're the first one, is what I understand, right? I mean, I don't know if anything else that's done this yet, so we don't know what the consequences are yet. That's the risk of it. So,
and
I'm
I
fine.
just saw the state,
go ahead.
The state of Kansas just voted to repeal their statewide declaration. So I mean, we are going to see other repeals. So maybe we'll just be the leader in this.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it matters if cities do it one way or the other. It's really about the states, but if the whole state of Kansas did it, I mean, they're certainly not going to let money sit on the table for that.
Right.
Can't imagine the ARPA picking and choosing by that either.
Yeah. Jade, can you go up just to the next, keep 26th on the, can you scroll up? Oh yeah, this is the one that's got, well, a little more. This is the one that's got, I think, all those study session items. So we may be looking at the 26th. I probably will get some pushback on making it that time frame, but it is not as simple as I think, particularly if we're changing the parking requirements. I mean, that's very complicated. So
Were you wanting to add a study session to the 19th? Sorry.
Do we have, where are the study sessions?
We currently don't have a study session for the 19th.
Oh. Yes, I think so, because even when we bring this to council, there are going to be lots of decisions that council is going to have to make. I tried to lay out some of those last night, but these are not going to be straightforward, you know, help everyone on those 3 emergency orders, converting those to policies.
Well, I may have overstated the simplicity of it to the chamber this morning then. I was trying to put them at ease. That's too bad. So the 19th is the regular meeting. So the 26th, what was on the 26th?
2 study session items currently.
Okay. But so it would be, so when do you think this would come to us on a regular meeting, Shawn?
Well, I need to, Tamara, probably, you have probably the heavy, but I've got my departments coming up with policy solutions, but those are all going to have to be vetted and, you know, go through the city attorney's office. So I don't want to rush.
Well, parking requirements potentially in our zoning codes and our building codes. So we'll have to just make sure we address all of it. So we want to be careful and make sure it's done correctly, obviously. So we don't want to rush it. So it will take us time to make sure it's all correct.
Do you think a study session, just to kind of run through the options of how the mechanics would work on the 19th is too soon?
No, I think we can have it by the 19th.
I think that would accommodate probably council members who would rather see it in at least a month. Okay.
What do
Is
you
that
say,
okay with you?
Daniel? You're wanting to get it done pretty quick too. So what do you think?
Well, the 19th is a month away. I would prefer to see it on the 6th or whatever it is. Yeah, the 6th. Is it the 6th or the 5th? Are we back on the 5th?
We're back on the 6th.
The 5th, yeah, the 5th is the declared holiday for the 4th weekend.
We're doing it on
So
the
the
6th.
6th is our meeting. Unfortunately, on the calendar for the kids' calendar, it still says the 5th. So I can't predict what's going to happen on that. I just know that businesses are nervous. And
again, like, yeah, I want them done concurrently, and obviously if that's not possible, I'd rather shoot for the 6th though, to try to get it done by the 6th and have everything done concurrently.
I mean, if we were shooting for the 6th, the best we could do is a study session. We cannot have those ordinances ready by the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
But we could, well, I would defer to Tamara on the 6th.
Why not?
If that's our direction, we can make it happen. I don't like to rush into something, especially when it's multiple pieces of separate legislation with potentially reaching multiple sections of code. I just don't like to rush into it, but we can make it happen if.
But why the
that's
6th for the
direction we
study
have.
session? It wouldn't even come to vote until the 19th. So why not give you the week until the 12th to do the study session, and then we come to vote on the 19th? Does that work for you, Nathaniel?
And the 6th is also currently pretty full with study sessions as well.
Well, we can't do a study session on the 6th and decide that night. That's against our policy. So it would have to go to you on the 21st, which you can't do by next week. Unless you want to rescind the orders and not have anything in place.
No, that would not be my preference. So
I don't see how we cannot. I mean, maybe the earliest we can decide things is the 19th, but that would mean on the 12th would be the study session to throw, unless you have it ready on the 6th for us to look at. So we have another week in case there's any other problems. Why don't we leave it in your hands to try and figure it out so that we definitely try and vote by the 19th? Is that possible?
Are you talking to me? This is Tamara.
Yeah, I am. Sorry, Tamara.
Oh no, that's okay. We can, if that's your direction, we can make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've definitely done some work on this. But the comment from Councilmember Anderson really, if council wants us to accommodate everybody who had expanded parking, we are talking about a complicated code amendment.
yeah, Shawn, that to me seems like a bigger ask and something that we probably should delay. To me, it would be just rescinding the emergency order but getting 3 ordinances in place. I think I don't know. I did think that was a bigger ask yesterday in terms of just accommodating those that were using additional parking.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully we can have some options for you on that.
If there's an in-between option that allows for the time so that we don't disrupt someone's re-emerging business, that would also work. But I don't know if that means leaving one of the orders in place. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, if everybody's okay with it on the 19th, I mean, I know we would prefer it to be sooner, but the 6th is completely packed. And we could do it on the 12th, though, the study session. Would that be?
What do you mean? Have it come to us on the 6th in study session and then on the 12th have a special meeting and make a decision? Is that what you're suggesting or what?
Well, the study session to be on the 12th and I mean,
right.
Potentially the ordinance on the 19th.
Yeah,
but that's
what
probably a stretch.
No, that's what I was suggesting, so that
Oh,
you don't,
okay, great.
no, because I thought the 6th is really quick.
Yeah.
But the 12th would be a study session and then the 19th would be the decision. So I just an alert, I will be gone the week of the 26th through the 30th as well, July. That's a study session.
So Shawn, can I ask a question? So what is it that's going to be coming in front of us on the 12th?
Well, go ahead, Tamara.
I was going to say we could bring some options discussion of what these are the issues. This is some options for the council to consider in addressing those issues and still meeting the needs of the businesses that utilize those emergency orders, and really get clear direction from the council that we could then implement and propose legislation for the meeting on the 19th.
Okay, so are we asking, so does that also include the bigger ask of Member Anderson to accommodate those that are using parking?
It's too soon for me to weigh in on that because that just happened last night.
Right.
That would be our goal, but
Well,
I don't know the feasibility of it right now.
Yeah, so to me, the consensus last night was repealing the executive order and bringing back 3 ordinances. I didn't hear consensus on the aspect that Member Anderson brought up yesterday. So that's my concern, is that we're expanding this a little bit too much and delaying the repeal of the emergency order. That's my concern.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayor, you can let me know if I'm off base here, but I just don't want to expand this too much, have the city attorney's office do more work for an item that we're not sure all of council's on, or there's consensus on council to go forward with. And maybe that's the reason why we're having the session on the 12th.
And the notes I took during the meeting, I wrote down exactly what you just said: repeal the ordinance and then draft legislation regarding those 3 specific issues.
Right, but the alcohol issue alone is dictated by state law, which is undecided. I mean,
Yes, and we're expecting some changes in state law on that.
Right. It's not as easy as it sounds. But I think if we can do the 12th to lay out all of those options and some of the nuance, we can quickly come back to you when we get final council direction, because there are going to be options that staff shouldn't be making those decisions and just bringing back legislation to you to vote on. We really need policy direction from council in the form of a study session. And I think by the 12th, we'll have more clarity on the state law. And I think we'll have time to look at options for, do we need to do any parking changes to accommodate everybody? But we'll also have the option of we can help everybody that's got expanded seating on public property. So.
Okay. No, that makes sense, because yeah, that whole alcohol thing, the expectation was that they were going to decide that earlier this month, and they haven't yet. So, all right.
Wait, they have.
They have?
They've extended it to 2026.
Well, I think there were some changes on the open consumption, though.
Was there?
Some proposed, but we can get that information for you.
Info.
And Mayor, if it's okay, I'm going to jump off.
Yeah, I think we need to finish.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you. This is the end of the mayor manager meeting. It's 9:16. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.